Now, too late. We here now. Well, welcome to a special episode of This Works For Us podcast. We have some special guests on the screen here, and that is Tyrone and Alicia Potter. How y'all doing? Welcome.
Doing good. What's up, people?
It's all right. Hey, we good here. Look like you're a little nervous over there.
I mean, it's our first time, doing a major podcast like this. So, we got the butterflies floating a little bit, but we're going to try and keep it contained and, do what we do. Just keep it casual, keep it moving.
Your first, our second.
Oh, yeah.
We did one couple years ago, and that was live and in person. So this is our official first one of many to come via Zoom.
Hey, so we're honored to be selected as the first of what I'm sure to be many. Yeah, the first of many.
Trial and error.
So here we go.
Yeah. So if you would like to give our listeners a little background information on you guys, how long y'all been married, any children. Obviously, I know some of this stuff, but please proceed.
Okay, so Tyrone and Alicia Potter been married 16 years, together a lot longer than that. As you know, high school sweethearts. We're in our 40s now. I won't get specific and say, the exact age, but we're in our 40s. We met when we were in 7th grade. Not to use a cliche, but it was almost, for me at least, love at first sight, right? First time I saw it, I kind of knew.
Oh man,
yeah, it is. I kind of knew, what it was going to be, or at least had, hopes of what it could be. And things just kind of turned out. So we started dating realistically when we were in like 10th grade. And things got serious, a lot more serious than I will ever advocate for a high school couple to be. We ended up having a kid right after we graduated our senior year. We were pregnant, obviously, our senior year, had the baby right after we graduated. And that kind of, turned our lives upside down, so to speak. A lot of things that we had planned, we had to divert from those plans because we're now a young parent, young teenage parents, and life comes at you fast. When you're 17 with a kid, life's coming at you full speed ahead. And you don't even know what to do for yourself, right? You're just getting ready to enter into the idea of adulthood, and now you've got somebody that depends on you. So life was a challenge for us, but through the grace of God, a lot of prayers, trials and tribulations, we were able to make it through. Got married several years later, and we've been fighting a good fight ever since.
I feel
that's us in a nutshell. We've got 3 kids. So Aaliyah was our first, like I mentioned. She's the one we got pregnant with in high school. She's 23 now. Just graduated 2 years ago from a year ago from Florida State. Florida State University. So go Noles. Yeah, I know you love that. But she's the first of the few that we have. So we've got 2 boys. She got 2 little brothers. Tyrone Jr., he's 14, and then Tyree, who's 13, coming up right behind her. Hopefully they'll follow her steps and go to college and live successful adult lives. So that's us in a nutshell for the most part, unless you got anything you want to add.
That's it.
All right.
Like pretty bang up job for some teen parents.
I tell you, it wasn't easy, man. We made a lot of mistakes.
It was not easy at first.
But again, all credit to God, man. Him and our support system, our family, they gave us the guidance we needed. Told us when we were going dead wrong, like, hey, this ain't right. Y'all need to figure it out. Because again, when you're young, 17, 18, and you're responsible for a young kid, it's just challenging, man. You don't have a career. You don't know where your pay is coming. It's a lot, dude. And we didn't have the answers. And by her parents, my parents, our support system, our siblings, family, friends, like you, Sean, you were there at the beginning, and we were able to kind of see it through, despite it all. But God.
I was gonna say, since you brought that up, as far as like the beginning, let's go back to that time of 17-year-old Tyrone, 17-year-old Alicia. There was some certain event that took place prior to that, you alluded to earlier, that you have a daughter that's 23 years old. What specifically that you recall happened right before or during that pregnancy? What happened that we all did at that time?
What, trying to be grown?
Nah, are you alluding? Are you joining the Navy?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's hell. That's what I do to this day. 23 years later, still, Navy strong, Navy pride. And that, I wholeheartedly, when I sit back and I think about, you reflect back on your life and the different journeys that you had to take to get to where you are. I know for a fact I wouldn't be in the Navy if it wasn't for you. Before, we discussed, Alicia being pregnant. Before that was even, made relevant, I was going to college, right? Like straight out of high school. I was a smart dude, or at least I like to think I was a pretty smart dude. And I had scholarships lined up, and I knew, man, I was destined for other things. I'm not gonna say bigger or better things, but I was destined for other things in life. But and I said this the other day, right? My grandmother used to tell me, if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right? And that joke will kill over laughing. Because I tell you, what I'm doing right now compared to what I thought I was going to be doing 20 some odd years is apples and oranges, night and day, 180 out of phase, not even remotely close to what I'm doing now. So yeah, I contribute to my being in the Navy solely to you, David, Walter, you guys going into the buddy program and deciding to wait for me. If you remember, right, like you guys were set.
I had the baby's due date.
That was something I didn't know. I didn't know that.
I had to change my job.
Yep.
Had to change my job. Yes. So originally, I had, like you said, I had went first, and another friend of mine, I told this story before.
For context, when you say went, you mean you went to the recruiter and started the process. You didn't leave anywhere. You just went and started the process.
Correct. So I just went as a good friend, just for the ride. I just went for the ride. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to recruit now. If you want to ride with me?" Yeah, I go.
That was Jawan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I go there with him.
Wow.
He was supposed to go. Long story short, he was supposed to go. He didn't go. I went.
That's crazy.
And I told them about it, and we started talking to I forget was it Hall?
PS2 Hall.
We talked to him, and Teeter, talked to him, and we got you guys involved. And I had originally was supposed to be a air traffic controller. I was going in to be air traffic controller. In order for us to all go on the buddy system, they already picked their. Oh, so y'all got dog problems too. I had to pick something totally different. So I basically went, matter of fact, I picked Seaman sub. No, I didn't go quite well, I guess you could say I was undesignated.
Hey, y'all wasn't Seaman ATD?
But no, it was I was supposed to go on a submarine. I was supposed to go up on a submarine.
Oh yeah, supposed to?
Yes.
It actually happened?
No. In boot camp, it everything got changed. Everything. Yeah. Because I heard about that Russian sub.
That Russian sub. Yeah, I tell you about that, man. It sank. And this was like July of 2000. A Russian sub sank. And me, you, and Walter were all in the new program, new pipeline in some capacity. And we made the decision, like, hey, bro, that ain't for me. We can barely swim. And I say we, and that ain't all of us, right? I ain't calling nobody out, but everybody couldn't swim. And so we were like, yo, this is different than what we anticipated. Like, you telling me these subs actually be singing? Nah, but
bow it out quickly.
We out of here. I don't care what you gonna give us, but you ain't giving us that. And that's what it was.
But that's how that happened. And lo and behold, did you had to go through what was your rate that you ended up?
I picked advanced electronics computer field, AECF. And so remember, I stayed in the Great Lakes area, Chicago Great Lakes area, for an extra year and some change, because I had to go through Tech Core and then A school there before I went to C school in San Diego. So we started a journey together, got to boot camp, and then quickly we all went on different paths, different branch plans, if you will. And I think, you know, in retrospect, it's all worked out, right? According to God's will, God's plan, everybody's doing successful.
Absolutely.
Walt's working, you know, in the television industry. What is Good Morning America, working there. David just retired from the Navy, pursuing his degree in logistics. So that's phenomenal. You're doing amazing things, obviously, you know, with
Hey man, we keep that low. We keep that
in your IT world, and you know, I'm the Lone Ranger. And it's funny, man, the guy that the last one to think about the military is the one with the longest tenure out of all of us. So look at God, right?
It's,
Sounds like your grandma was right.
Yeah, she was.
it's an
She was.
amazing journey. Amazing journey. And now for you, Alicia, going through this process at a very early age, how did you I guess feel about looking at no, there's no pause in here. We hear they finna get every piece of what's about to happen to this dog here in a second.
Oh,
Oh, she just laid down. It's good. But anyway, so during this time, you know, decisions were made that, you know, joining the military. How did you feel at that time when all this was happening?
yeah. So I was totally against all of that. We had a lot of talks about it because, like he said, we both had our little plans. It was kind of like, shoot, we just ruined all our little life plans. You know, I was going off to FAMU with a scholarship. He was going wherever with all his choices with scholarships. He wanted to be a doctor, probably would have been a great surgeon, whatever. And then he said, oh, I'm joining the Navy because I need to make money now. And I'm like, what? You never even thought about the military. Like, what are you talking about? And so we kind of went back and forth, and I kept saying that, you know, my dad, you know, he's gonna make sure we're okay. You don't have to worry about that because me and Leah will be okay, you know, blah, 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 blah. He didn't want to listen, so he was like, I'm joining, this is what I'm going to do because I want to take care of my family, and I don't want somebody else to take care. He's very manly, macho, like, I don't want somebody else to do it. This is my job. I created this, so that was his decision. So I stood by him. I didn't agree with it at first, but
stood beside him.
Yeah. But I stayed beside him, and so he went off and joined the military, and signed up and everything, and he kept pushing his date back, like I said, because my due date for Aaliyah was June 20 something, June 25th, maybe.
I thought it was the 30th.
That's when she was born. It was like the due date was it was before that. It was like the 18th or something. Right. And y'all were supposed to leave, but then it was like, okay, wait, can we push it back a little bit longer? Because she hasn't had the baby. And y'all pushed it back and y'all left. I vividly remember I dropped him off at the recruiting office that morning office to leave. And I told her, I was like, man, I feel like I'm about to go in labor because I'm like, I don't feel right. I feel like something's up. And he was like, whatever, you know, so we say our goodbyes, he leaves, and y'all get down, I think Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Probably by the time you got down there, I went into labor. So then they were like, well, it's too late. They would not let him come back to Bainbridge. So whoop-de-doo, they sent y'all away, and I had the baby the next day, and he didn't see her until she was almost 6 months old. Wow. Good old military.
That's the military for you too.
Yes.
Yeah, man, it comes that you pass.
Speaking of that, how did you feel during those I guess those times, you know, being in your career in the military, that there were obviously some special dates and things that you missed out on? How did that make you feel?
Obviously it sucks, right? When you think about it as a parent, and the reason why I joined the military was to be a father, to take care of my responsibilities, take care of my family. And now you're telling me that my job is going to cause me to miss these milestones that only come up once in a lifetime. Potentially, you know, with the birth of a child, definitely once in a lifetime. Birthdays, certain, you know, school events, what have you. You only get one shot at those things. And now my career is pulling me away and preventing me from being there. It sucks. You know, to go back to what you were saying, everyone was against me joining the military, right? And Rashawn, you know, I didn't grow up with a dad, an active present biological father in my life. And that created a lot of different hardships, a lot of challenges, things that I had to deal with. And I always told myself, man, you know, after I got burned so many times as a young kid, thinking, you know, my stepdad is going to, and I'm not knocking him by no means. Jerry, if you see this, I love you. I appreciate everything you've done. But there were times where, you know, he just wasn't able to show up and be present, you know, and take care of me in the way that I thought I should have been, you know, provided for or whatnot. And I always told myself, like, hey, if I ever have a kid, my kid will never know what it's like not to have a dad present, not to have certain things that other kids have. I'm going to be there, right? I'm going to be present forever, right? I'm going to be there. I'm going to set my kids up in a way that wasn't done for me. And so that's my entering argument, if you will, joining the Navy. And now I find myself, by no fault of my own, you know, being pulled away or not being present, as present as I would have liked to have been early on in her development per se. Because I think with the boys, man, I for the most part. Here we go.
We've had 3 kids.
I saw one.
He was only here for one.
I
verse,
saw
so.
one. Okay. Oh gosh.
The fact of that was, you had just got back, and then I had TJ. Like, you were here for TJ, then you left. Then I was big and pregnant with TJ. He couldn't even walk yet, and then you left for like 10 months. So I had a baby, and then like 4 or 5 more months went by before you saw that one. Plus, I had the newborn TJ. And
when I left on deployment, I had 2 kids and a pregnant wife. I came back, I got a skinny wife and 3 kids.
Exactly, like and then the baby.
The 2 kids, the 2 boys, them jokers looking at me like, yo,
who are you? Yeah, they didn't even know who he was.
Like one of them peeking around the corner.
Yeah.
The integration.
The young one.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to call you daddy.
Eventually, you moved to wherever you were stationed, right?
Yeah, so we were in Jacksonville in Mayport, Florida, and then we left there and went to Virginia. Was our next duty station, right?
Yeah,
Virginia Beach.
We were lucky to stay in Jacksonville the longest.
Yeah.
So we were in Jacksonville from, well, he got there, what year did you get there?
Oh, I think
2002. He got there in like 2002. I kind of started showing up in 2003. I say started because I was in school. I was in college. So I did my interns there. So I was spending a lot of time in Jacksonville, back and forth. And then eventually I graduated, and then I moved down to Jacksonville. And so we were there from 2002 to 2011.
Yeah. 11.
So we were there. That was like the longest. Yeah, we were there for a long time.
Yeah.
But he was still listed.
Y'all had a new baby, right? And it was the first time that y'all lived together, right? How was that experience?
Oh my God.
Do you want to ask that?
God. It was.
You want to know that?
Okay, so backstory.
Yeah, that was rough.
We grew up in 2 different environments, right? Alicia and her parents. Alicia was well off.
Wait a minute. No.
Yeah,
So
in our eyes, I know what you mean. In our eyes, yeah.
Yeah, so everything is relative, right? So when you talk about a kid from the projects,
okay, I didn't grow up in the projects.
Y'all was loaded. Flat out. I mean, I hit the jackpot.
I promise you we were not loaded.
Right. And again, everything is relative, right? So we grew up in the projects. There's no subjectivity to that. I grew up in the projects, right? There were times, and I will say to be in the projects was a blessing compared to some of the other places we had to live growing up, right? And sometimes I tell her some of the things that I had to go through as a child. She's like, "There's no way." Like, yeah, there's a way, and I got 6 siblings that can verify, everything that I'm saying.
Boy, it's plenty of y'all too.
6.
Exactly. Yeah, man. We was a tribe, bro. We was a whole vibe. So we had totally different dynamics as far as the parenting that we were subjected to growing up, right? And so you take 2, and then remember, we're kids, right? We're kids. We're kids that had a kid, and I think the way I was brought up is the way to go, and she thinks the way she was brought up is the way to go. So you've got these 2 different paradigms clashing to raise a little baby. And when I use the word clashing intentionally because there were some clashing moments where it's like, no, this is the way we got to raise this baby. No, this is the way we got to raise this baby. You ain't right. Well, look at you. I came out perfect. It was wild. It was wild. It was absolutely bizarre. I mean, it was just crazy growing up in that household. And to this day, it still amazes me that our child grew up, went to college, graduated early. Like she graduated in 3 years, no debt, full scholarship.
Yeah.
She did it all, right? Double majored bio and chemistry from Florida State University.
Praise God.
You know, I mean, but God, and you got these two idiot parents
What we
who
were
don't
doing.
know what to do growing up. Like, I mean, we didn't. We really didn't. Like, I can't even. I mean, if I told you guys some of the stories that we had, when the lady was a baby.
We're not gonna tell.
Yeah, I'm not. I said if. The
yeah.
operative word is if, right? Maybe
Yeah.
you know, we'll divulge some of that stuff, but it was just crazy. She had her way of doing it, right? And mom was always right.
And it was the first. So
Oh yeah.
you probably understand, like, as the mama bear, that first one is like, that's your fragile, breakable dog. Now the other two, they have different life. But that first one, Aaliyah was like my little fragile, like I had to put her in a bubble, and he was more on the lines of, you know, God made dirt for them to eat it to build up their immune system. And I'm like, no, that's not how this is gonna work.
Get it out of the mud, literally.
So,
we gonna get it out of the mud. And it's just different, right? I think the one resolute principle was that we were gonna love our baby, and we were always gonna be there and provide, you know, with everything that we could to be successful in life. But the manner in which we did that was different, vastly different. 180, you know, between her lifestyle and her upbringing and things that were instilled in her compared to things that were instilled in me were totally different. But we made it.
So what would you say helped y'all get through that time? Together, because you stayed together.
Yeah, so one is prayer, right? And I know both families here are God-fearing families, but I think we prayed a lot. And we relied on God to guide us in a lot of things. We did receive inputs from our different parental units, if you will. You know, her parents provided inputs, my parents provided inputs, and then we took those and we communicated. And a lot of times the conversations weren't pleasant.
Yeah.
But again, the ultimate goal, and one thing we kept in mind, is that ultimate goal is the benefit and the, you know, it was about Aaliyah. It's what's in the best benefit for her.
And I think a lot of it was both of us having to just grow up together. Because we were so young, we had to grow up together and learn how certain times, because he's a Leo, I'm a Taurus, we're both very stubborn and kind of want to lead and be in control and bossy. So it was like, we both can't win. So we had to learn to compromise. Yeah. It was a lot of, you know, like, okay, you know what, maybe I can't get this one, I'm gonna let him have this one. I see what he's saying, we're gonna try it his way first.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
And I think we both, you know, we understood that neither one of us are doing anything would ever do anything to hurt our kid, right? So we're both doing things to benefit the child. It's just, hey, tomato, right? I've got this way to do it. You may have that way to do it, but ultimately we're driving to the same goal. And I think once we arrived at that conclusion, things became a lot easier.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost sounds scripted, right?
No, it's not scripted.
I think it is.
Hey,
you got Tyree or TJ back there holding up.
Hey man, Q card. Hey,
Hey,
16, almost 17 years in the game, brothers.
We have done like bouts of counseling.
Okay.
So that was another one of those hard conversations because he's from where he's from, and we don't get help, and we don't, you know, that's acting like we're failing. No, that's not necessarily acting like you're failing. Sometimes you do need help. So we've done like bouts counseling all over the United States, here and there. We've done with the church. And then we've also done it out in town. So just getting other people's opinions like that as well has helped us as far as just child raising.
That's the thing, man. As a young parent,
normalize going to therapy. It is okay. Like individual and as couples.
Yeah.
So yes.
Getting it out the mud, you know, figuring it out.
Yeah.
That sounds good. It sounds good in the rap record, right? But it ain't always the thing to do. Sometimes you need help, man. Like, hey, I'm just in my 18, 19, 20, 40 years, you know, I just haven't experienced or garnered enough experience to figure out how to tackle this problem. Or there may be somebody that's more capable that can provide more perspective on how to deal with a certain problem set. And so it took me a while.
Skin in the game, right? If they've been at it
man.
a long time, they've experienced.
It took me a while to agree and accept that. Right, as an egotist, but as an egotistical male, growing up in the project as a dude, right? Like I'm a dude. Like Sean, you've been knowing me since forever. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm not gonna ask for help and growing up
in your mind,
it's a sign of weakness, right?
And I'm like, that's not the way it is.
It's taboo now, but you know, back then, dog, if you ask for help, bro, you weak.
I mean, it's prevalent in the African American community anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Like that's not what we're typically taught. Like you're strong, you could do this, you don't need anybody to help you, right? It's a sign of
but like you said, normalize therapy. You ain't weak to get it. You're almost weak if you don't.
Well, one of the things that you obviously bringing this up is that we see with, you know, other marriages that have been, you know, that's been lasting a long time, that they've come across a lot of challenges and stuff. And I think the foregone conclusion with that, it takes two. That both parties have to be involved in order for this thing to work. We kind of talked on a episode that is yet to be released about being selfless. So when you have the two parties that are driving to that same goal, it's, you know, you're going through that for that success. And if you guys are not on the same page, you're not going to get that. You know, when we talked about it, you know, I use sports reference. She won't be watching sports like that. But, you know, it's kind of like if you, what's the team? Let's say an undisciplined team like the Dallas Cowboys.
That's perfect example. I like that. Hey, baby, this ain't your show. This ain't your show. It's his show.
Let's talk about the New York Giants.
No, but he already
New York Giants.
You put out a great team already.
I think that's
Rashawn, as you were saying.
Look at our record. Look at their record. Let's talk about Giants.
I knew I was going to Rashawn tell her how to run the book club. Hey, go ahead, Rashawn. You do your thing, bro.
But just in general, an undisciplined team. When you have someone that's not on the same page, that hurts the team. You have false starts in there, and that sets the team back from achieving that goal that they need to get that first down or that touchdown. So it's important that you be on the same page with that. So I like that you guys have, along with other couples that we probably know either of the same couple friends or whatever, or even outside of that we've seen that, you know, that works. Marriage works. It takes work in order for it to work.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now that you're in your space now, 16 years in, what would you say is the best part of being married?
And somebody to do life with, man. That's I think that for me, that's the best part. Like, it's always something, even, well, not always, because he's out to sea half the time and gone, but when he is here, having somebody to do life with, and you know, we can share in like all the things, like kids become your priority when you start having kids. Like, it's funny how like that just changes everything, because your drive is the kids. And so, you know, he's just excited with me for birthdays, for Christmas, for he caught the football, she did a backflip for the first time, whatever it is. It's like you have that cheerleader that's with you, and y'all are on the same page when it comes to that. For me, that's like having that companionship, and he's there. He's always there, and I feel like no matter what, he's got my back.
So I think the best part is tomorrow, right? And it's going to take a while to get to that point, but I think so. Right now, you know, we're parents. We're always going to be parents. Got it. But we've got kids, birds in the nest right now, right? A lot of the things that we do is focus on, getting the boys everything they need to be successful in life. At some point, they're going to leave, go to college, start their own lives, and go out in the world and do things. At that moment, it's just she and I. And that's the moment that I'm looking forward to, when it's just us, we're able to be kids again. Because when you think about it, right, in the grand scheme of things, you kind of lay out the timeline. Our childhood was essentially, I'm not going to say taken from us, but it was put on pause because we started, the parenting phase early on. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow when the boys are gone. Aaliyah obviously is well off, doing great things, but the boys are gone. They've got their future in hand, or in sight at least. They know what it is that they want to do. And then it's just she and I.
And the Navy is behind us.
I'll retire.
Yes, the Navy will be
set for it,
hopefully.
But I'll retire right around that point, and now we can just focus on us, right? Where do we want to travel? What do we want to do? Do we feel like getting out of bed? We just want to lay here, do some grown folk stuff all day long, whatever it is. Man, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to that.
He wants a naked room.
I'm going to have a naked room.
Y'all, I'm not.
Y'all a lot closer to that than we are.
Right.
Yeah. I got a long way to go.
I got a long way to
go. 13 to 14-year-old, 8th and 9th grade. So,
no sagging pieces over here.
5 years. This is obtainable, man. Tomorrow happens in 5 years for us. And bro, I'm telling you, when we drop them boys off, we're going straight. When we drop the last one off at college, we're going straight to the airport.
Jet setting somewhere.
Don't know where we're going, bro.
Let's just
bags.
Let's just pick one.
We out.
Yeah,
we out.
Throw a dart at the map. Boom.
That's it.
Exactly.
Throw a dart. Let's hit it, baby.
So a lot of people, it seems, right, because we're not in that space yet, but a lot of people seem to struggle after the kids leave, right? Because they maybe focus only on the kids, and they didn't create that bond and that relationship and that friendship with each other while the kids was still there. What are some of the things that y'all do to make sure that y'all stay grounded within your relationship outside of the kids?
Dates.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. We 100% still. Yeah, we make time. Even when they were little, it's so much easier now that they're older too. But even when they were little, we had to, it would be long dates. It was kind of like when they were smaller, we would ship them off to my parents' house during the summer, during spring break. Grandparents came in, they would stay there for like a month or two, and then that was all our time. Like we dated every day then, and then it's like, okay, school year starts back up. Not as much because we didn't, moving, we didn't have a lot of friends or family close, so it was hard when they were younger. And then with the age gap worked really well. As Aaliyah got older, now we have a live-in babysitter for a long time, so then we were still able to date. So that was like a big thing. And then the hardest probably time I would say was during COVID, because we were so used to like weekend. This is our mom and daddy date time. Now it's like, shoot, can't leave the house for almost 2 years. COVID happened. So we had to come up with like different kind of dates, but it was still really cool to come up. Like we made this schedule where we had to take turns. It's like, okay, so every 2 weeks we're gonna do something, but you have to come up with a creative date. It's your turn next time. And so, we had all kind of little dates. We had one that most memorable for me was, I don't even know, was it anybody's birthday or anything at that point, but like the kids dressed up as little waiters and waitresses.
No, that was my date.
And he did this, and it was like, so that's what I said, the most memorable for me. And he planned it and everything. And
that one was great. Aaliyah just come home because obviously college is shut down at that point.
So she was stuck at home.
Aaliyah came home, and so I did all the cooking.
But I had them
serve it to us
outside, and we set up like our patio outside. Like they had the candles.
Artist Palace.
Being all romantical.
Yeah. And then he had me get like dressed up. He was like, get dressed, put on makeup. And so then we act like we were going on a date. So we actually like walked out the front door and like held hands and walked around the house to the backyard. And they opened the door to go inside the gate.
That's awesome.
Really cool. So that was probably the most memorable. We had the wine, sitting on the ice, everything. It was like perfect. And then we danced that night, in the back patio after the kids left and gave us time. So it was really nice. So I think that was cool. So dating, I think you got to always keep dating each other. You got to make time for each other together. And then trips. We've been doing, when we can, trips without the kids. It's like every year we try to at least do
Oh,
two
you are
trips.
speaking my language.
Yes,
Hey,
we try to
gotta
do
get it,
two.
man.
What we did really good last year. Our goal after COVID, we were like, okay, we're gonna go somewhere out the country every quarter. That was our goal, and we hit it last year. We were going. This year we kind of slowed down because we just moved here, so it's kind of a little bit different with him getting out from work. When he was working where he was at before, it was easier. So taking trips together, we'll do a family trip, and that's kind of thing. We don't want to leave our kids behind because we want them to be cultured and see other things too. So we take them, and then we like, okay, now this is mommy and daddy trip. Y'all can't go, and then that's like our time. So
Listen, when I tell you that I look forward to an all-adult trip.
Bruh,
like vacation, yes.
you gotta,
Oh,
you gotta do it.
I had one.
Drop them little crumb snatchers off and get
Yes.
after it, bro.
Listen to
We
me.
did have one.
We had one the first time before
6
everybody
years
else.
ago.
Before everybody else had kids, that in our little friend group here. Obviously, Kylie is the first one of our little group of friends here. Our little network of family here.
Y'all
Kylie,
were the first ones to have a baby out of the group.
yeah,
I
here.
didn't know that. Okay.
So I take that back. There's one person, well, a couple that lives in Dallas, but we're gonna keep it here. But they had theirs like 10 months before we had Kylie. Well, either way, Kylie was 9 months when we all took a trip to Cancun. We went to an all-inclusive spot there.
Oh no, we left her here. We
Oh,
left-
okay. Okay.
My mom was here, her mom was here. Out
Okay.
by far. Still one of the best vacations we.
Oh,
That was 2017.
Yes, it's been a minute.
Oh, y'all will do, yeah.
Our godson he actually went on the trip too, but she was pregnant with him. So
That long ago, huh?
brother.
Right. Hey,
Every time we talk about
Sean
our,
ready.
I said, can we leave these jokers here?
yeah,
Leave.
man.
It's hard.
Yeah.
We did not travel as much. When they were that age, though, we didn't either. It was tough.
And then the dynamics of the military, man, always being away, right? Like we don't. If I think it's easier. Well, hell, I know it's easier if you live in the same region or geographic
family.
area as your family. Because
Yeah.
hey, you got a babysitter right there. Hey, boom, drop off some pizzas, and I'm out, right?
Mhm.
But
Our
when you're
dynamics are
states
crazy.
away, and then you got to factor
All
in.
the amount of money we have to
Yeah.
save. It's like, okay, not
It's
only
tough.
paying for your trip, it's like, all right, we gotta make sure we have enough money. We gotta buy grandma a ticket here and back. Like, make sure there's a whole bunch of food in the house. Like, it's just or fly all the kids there.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of moving parts.
It's definitely in that boat because we don't have any family
I'm
here
trying to tell
in
you
Texas. We're blessed to have a great church family, so we do have support, but not the same as like grandparents being around the corner. So we definitely get that.
Yeah, this family, they have our girls right now as we do this show.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a blessing, man. To have
and it wasn't even like that. There was a couple things that's going on tonight for Kylie at the church that she's a part of right now. They are always at the church too, so it's we wouldn't think twice. And we've always had an open invitation for them. If they say, "Hey, can we get girls?" Yes,
Please.
yes, you can get them. So we understand that especially when like with family, like our family's way. Her mom's in New York,
Yeah.
my mom's back in Georgia still. So we get that. I look forward to when they come out here to visit.
Yes.
And
And they want to see you, and you're like trying to leave.
Hey,
Same.
yeah.
It's like, come visit us, but then now we're going.
yeah, we're gonna get up out of
had a conversation with my mom like 2 months ago. We were trying to plan her to come out here.
For
And it was literally like, she's gonna fly in on Friday, and we flying out Saturday. And she's like, wait a minute, what? I'm like, no, listen,
I didn't get to talk to you.
you here long enough to know the lay of the land,
here.
where the grocery store at,
Exactly, grocery store
the
is
nearest
the car
hospital. Here the car key. Here's the address. Put it in your navigation right now.
Mhm.
Out, bro. And obviously, things didn't pan out that way. We had some other circumstances pop up, but that was the goal.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I
We
know,
was
I
supposed
get
to be
it. You
gone.
just got here. You never been to Colorado. I'll show you when we get back.
Figure it out.
But we out, player. We out.
Now, I heard earlier that you mentioned about sometimes you got to get the finances to where we got to get the parents out or things like that. How do you guys handle financial decisions within your family?
Is that us?
That's us, but that's not our car. Our car's in the balloon.
I'm sorry, a car alarm was going off.
No, you good.
Yeah, we live on base, man, but you never know, man.
Yeah.
Some unsavory characters out there.
And I see that your flashbacks. We are not in the hood.
Unsavory characters. Don't trust nobody out here. So so I read a study a while ago, probably about 2-3 years ago, that said the number one reason for divorce is finances.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always like a potential landmine stepping on. And I'm not going to say that we have the best solution, but we just try and talk about what it is that we're trying to achieve. One of the biggest points of contention that we have in our relationship that has been a problem since day one, and I'll admit it, right, is the level of support that I provide back to my family, financial support. And the arrogant aspect of me always says, hey, I make money, so I should be able to spend said money however I want to, with no input or said, questions from you. Not always the best solution, not always the best approach.
You smart man. You smart man.
It comes with time, brother. It comes with time.
I was gonna say them lumps you hiding up there under that hat.
That and the bald head is up under his hat too, bro. Like I had an afro when I got married, and I ain't got it now. And it comes, man. That's the hardest thing. I think the easiest thing for us, in my perspective, is knowing what our ultimate goal is and never losing sight of that, right? So, and I know people throw out financial freedom all the time, right? You can't go to Starbucks right here and somebody talk about being financially independent, retire early, right? That acronym all the time. But that's something that we really, really want to ensure that we don't derail. That's a goal that we're driving toward day in and day out. And so as long as we are, staying committed to our savings plan, staying committed to our investment plans, never missing that mark, the monthly contributions, then I think we have, I don't know, we have a tolerance, if you will, as to what we can piss away. Again, I don't know if she agrees. That's my. Oh, well, okay. It sounds like it's gonna be different. Good time for a break. But no, it's just in my mind, as long as the house is taken care of, our savings plan is taken care of, our investments are taken care of, our insurance is taken care of, then you have some latitude, as long as you don't exceed those unspoken left and right limits, to where you can kind of piss away a couple bucks on this or a couple bucks on that. And, you gotta be responsible, right? You gotta make sure you hit the main wickets. Keep the main thing the main thing. That's all I got. You go for it.
That's very accurate. I do agree with you. I was just gonna make a point about in the beginning, I guess, what he was saying as far as financial obligations and kind of how he would respond, like, well, I make money so I can do what I want, kind of thing.
I said that wasn't right at that point.
I
said that wasn't the right answer.
Yeah.
I said that.
Especially when I was working too and making the same money, and it was like, you're spending my money without talking to me, but okay. So we did bump heads a good little bit on that. But it kind of worked out over time. One, it goes back to what I said about that give and take. I realized we have totally different upbringings. So I've never been in a situation where I had to really do that. If anything, we called when to ask my dad for something.
Once.
One time we had to do that.
We did that one time. And when I tell you life came at us fast,
we can talk about that next time too. Right. So it was never like that. So it was always, I had to find it myself to be at peace with it. And so that's another way that I think growth in him, but then also I realized that wasn't a battle that I just wanted to have. And as long as he wasn't taking our last, I was okay with it. And then it got to the point where I was just like, you don't even have to tell me for the most part. But he got more and more in the habit of now he actually is saying, hey, such and such needs something or whatever I'm going to do or what, how much, whatever. And he would, volunteer the information. So that really helped. And I appreciate you for, getting to that point of growth. Wow. And I acknowledge that got there. So that was good. And then as far as like you said, with everything else, we kind of have a silent, I guess, rule because we never really talked about it. But it's almost like, I'll go to the store and buy whatever I need for the kids or the house or whatever. But I'm not a big shopper, and neither is he, except for we both have our vice. That's what I said. I'm not a big shopper, but
your hair on fire right now.
What? So hold on, let me finish. So we have both of us have our things. My thing.
Those eyes went to the side of your head.
He shops more than me. So here's the difference. His shopping is like a lot because his thing is Jordans, like Jay's. He's become a sneakerhead. Look. So he's become this little sneakerhead. So we got to this point where every 2-3 days we had another delivery of Jay's coming in.
Yeah.
And Jay's costing $250, $300, $400, depends on how special edition they are.
I was going through something at that point in time in my life.
And I
prayed about it.
It's probably because I can probably tell you why.
Okay.
We didn't get these when we were younger.
We did.
Okay.
I can probably resonate with that. But however, I'll just to give you a little tidbit of how this frugal guy works here. In high school, the parents and my uncles really, they were the one that was buying those sneakers. I had the Scottie Pippens, I had Jerome Bettis and things of that nature. After high school, your boy wasn't spending that money like that. I'm not spending it. Well, that's facts. Didn't have it. I know we made one bad financial decision in boot camp that time. You remember what that was?
Yeah, financial bad. What? You did?
What'd you buy?
What you know what we bought?
Oh,
The Shador Sanders.
Hey, I'm not talking about that.
Huh?
If man, the things we did back then.
Check on one side.
Let's
You don't want to talk about it now.
Next question. Flip the page. What's the next question?
We just a little tidbit. All right, coming from Bainbridge, Georgia, we didn't make that much money. We worked at fast food prior to going to the military. So being in the military, you didn't or in boot camp rather, you wasn't really spending the money. So that money was being saved up. So once you saw like $3-4, maybe close to $4,000, maybe if that was sitting in the account, you was like, well, all right, now I could ball out.
please tell me how much I spent on these watches.
I'm curious too now. Like,
We bought these.
you're not matching something?
So he did. I didn't.
Oh.
So again, my situation.
I didn't. He did.
Well, you're right. That was David.
Baby.
Yeah,
That's
you,
right.
you and David.
David and I.
Yeah.
I got the picture. I think you and I had to show us.
I was there. And I remember like, ooh, them some bad boys, man. Them boy making that money. I couldn't do it. I had obligation.
What pimp see used to take that monkey crap off you, embarrassing us, had them Geneva watches.
Hey, back then we was something.
Hey, that was cash money and was rolling around, so everything was bling like a mother. Oh my
Goodness. I remember them jokers, man. They had duty or something, and the bass club was popping. I'm like, hey man, let me hold your watch for the night.
So y'all went and bought watches?
Hey, let me hold your watch for the night. They ain't gonna know who it belongs
So
to.
here's my question: where's those watches right now?
Right.
What do you mean? I lost it. That's probably out to sea, out in Mayport, probably.
You lost it?
That bad boy in the Atlantic Ocean somewhere.
Are you serious?
Them little cubic zirconian little thing was falling out by the day.
Hey, there's a fish on the bottom of the ocean balling right now. Who knows?
I bet we spent like $150 on those things or something like that.
Hey,
Just
that was a lot of money back then for us. It
Yeah.
was us.
Oh, that was dumb. I praise God to where we are now, and are doing much better, much wiser.
Much wiser, yes.
Growth.
That is, whoo, y'all. If everybody, whoever's listening, if y'all only knew, I'm quite sure some of you guys could, relate to that. We've made some.
It's probably best they don't know. It's probably best things kept to ourselves.
Yeah,
but it's just a testament of God's grace, man.
Yeah.
yes, indeed.
Seriously.
So, got technically two more, but one more in the realm of marriage and relationship. One, I guess, final piece of advice of marriage. What would you give that would resonate on your perspective of love and relationships?
So I think, in my perspective, is that you always have to remember that it's you too, right? You're gonna hear outside noise from other people, family, friends. Oh, girl, you should do this. Boy, you should do that. I would never. He would. That's all noise. You all have to do what's in the best interest of your relationship and the longevity of said relationship. I think as long as you keep that at the forefront of all your decision making, all your conversations, and then obviously not to be understated, the importance of giving it to God, right? Again, not relying on mama, daddy, cousin, sister, brother, aunt, whoever, right? All the outside noises, all the outside forces, trying to inject their thoughts into how your relationship should go. I think that is critical, and that will be the sustaining factor in the long run. If you remember that it's about you all, and that the pain, the disappointment, the frustration, the anger even is all short term, is all temporary, right? Love and longevity is the ultimate goal. So if you keep that in your mind, keep working toward that, I think everything kind of takes care of itself along the way. Not saying it's about to be easy, brother. Let me tell you, it ain't. Again, I had a fro before I got married and balled the shoe shop.
So we don't play that on marriage.
I'm speaking right now. You have your turn later. But hey, it is what it is, man. It's just understand whether it's kids involved, whatever the case may be, the goal is for the relationship to survive. And if you keep that in the forefront of your mind and continue to work toward that, never lose sight of that, I think that will be the sustaining factor.
I would just to piggyback off just what you just said a little bit before Alicia goes, that not only to survive but flourish at that. Yeah. Some people could take that and like, oh, just survive. Well, we need to do more than that. No, we want this to be something healthy. We want it to flourish and stuff.
Yeah. I tell you, man, and again, complete transparency, bro. There's some days where survival is the key.
Like, survive that day.
Yeah, bro. Dog, if I can make it to tomorrow
without,
bruh, that's a win. I mean, and that's just the challenges, the complexities, the frustration. Marriage ain't easy, bro. And whoever sells it as the fact that it is a liar.
Yeah.
I point them out and I'll slap the hell out of them for lying to them. Marriage is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart, and that's why there's so many divorces. If you think about it, right? At the first sign of trouble, it's so easy to get a divorce now, right? Yeah. You can just email a dude like, "Hey, I ain't feeling this chick no more. Shoot me that, and you divorce in like 7 hours, right? Like I literally saw a commercial for an 8-hour divorce. Like what? Like regardless of how long you've been together, if you meet certain criteria, you can be divorced in 8 hours. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, right? But so there's so many different avenues to get out of it, man. But if you stick with it and know that, hey, this is the person that I love, this person that I want to be with for the rest of my life, you just work toward it, man. That longevity, if that's the key, if that's the goal, work toward it. There's going to be a lot of different hurdles, a lot of different challenges, but just stay committed to longevity, you'll be all right.
You mentioned keeping people out of your relationship. Did y'all have any challenges with your parents because I was
Well, almost got
Christian thank you for
And I'm
keeping it
a kid
clean.
since
We run a
Yes,
very clean show here.
Boy, I was about to make the project
Definitely,
engineer have some editing to do.
So definitely we had a lot of that. And that's why he sounds very animated on that one. As far as I definitely was, he's more of the private one, keep it to himself. I was more of the, okay, well, my parents, background of them, they have been married for 45 years now.
Praise God.
Never seen them argue in my life. Well, I'm not gonna say they haven't, because they said they did have disagreements, but never to the point of, that, whatever. But from my standpoint, growing up, I had like what I would think of like the perfect childhood, watching them, loving the values they instilled in us.
The Huxtables.
That's how I grew up. They were
straight up.
It was like great. And so growing up, that's my vision of marriage. And I thought that's what made marriage perfect, and that's the way it was supposed to be. I didn't realize at the time, because I was young, that was their marriage and to them, and then this is my marriage to him. And so I did get a lot of run to my parents' input, and like, well, my dad said, or my mom, or they said, or we shouldn't do, and that did cause a lot of, you see his face, that's what that did cause a lot of strife in the beginning. And we had to work on that again, like learn to keep it between us, that kind of thing. So that took some work on my part to do that one.
Yeah, and I imagine it's even tougher for couples now, young couples starting off now with the prevalence of social media and how everyone is like the power couple, right? They carry themselves. And I think if you don't have the wherewithal or
to know that that's not real.
That's not real, exactly, right? And you just buy in on what you're seeing.
TikToks of this is marriage, and it's like all they're showing is we're traveling in May, and I love you, and that's it. Like
that ain't it.
And I'm like, that ain't all of it. That's a good part of it, but
that ain't it. And so when I tell you, we got it out the mud, bro. We got it out the mud. Like there were so many times where, like she said, like our dynamics growing up were just so different. I mean, oil and vinegar just
opposite
different,
because we were so opposite. When I say in everything, opposites.
Like my parents did X, Y, Z. Well, my parents did this, all right, and we're gonna have to make it clash. We're gonna see what sticks. And it was a lot. I mean, it was ugly, man. But we were young.
Yeah.
Didn't really know. Didn't have our footing in life. Didn't understand what it is that we were trying to do. We just both knew that, hey, we had a kid, and we got to figure this out for her sake, her benefit. And it's funny, not that this asked the question, man, but that was something we talked about. Like, hey, if we didn't have Aaliyah, will we still be together?
We'll even be together. Yeah, we've had those conversations. Like,
and I think the answer is no, probably, initially.
Yeah, probably not.
With the hopes that we would come back together at some, whether it was a class reunion or whatever, right? Because the chemistry was there, but the attraction was there, but
different ways. As far as colleges, we were going two different ways. We weren't planning to go to the same college, none of that stuff. And so I'm sure he probably would have met him a little hottie, and
boy is fly.
Nope, not gonna. Nope,
whatever.
Not going in there.
Your boy is charismatic. You know what I'm talking? No,
young people say you got Riz.
You know what I'm saying? That sometimes, nah, but it's a real conversation to have sometimes, right? Like, hey, would we like to think that love will prevail, but that may just be in the movies. Real life hits differently sometimes. But that was something we had to deal with. Conversations we had to have. But luckily, we still together.
Praise God, yeah, man.
Praise God.
We kind of took your shine, Alicia. What were you gonna say about sustainability in marriage?
Oh, okay. So I did agree with a lot of what he said. For me, I would say two things. One, communication. Like communication. And when I say like that is like probably the number one thing for me now that I'm older and we've been here, In the beginning, I didn't see how important it was. Now I do see it. And you really have to have open communication where the other person can feel like they can tell you, even if it's something like, hey, I killed somebody. Not really did any of that, but
no, this did not. This.
Unalive.
Who are you? I don't even know y'all.
So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have that level of comfort to be able to come to them with something really, really bad. So, like, so okay, like, hey, I did something really bad. I have a gambling problem. Whatever it is, I have a drinking problem.
I'm gonna pray for you, Tyrone.
That kind of stuff. I didn't just
put me out here, man.
We ain't hiding about it nowhere, but those kind of conversations. But to really have you have to learn how to communicate to the point where you don't push that person away or scare them to where they won't tell you things, or you can't talk about things because they know you're going to turn into big bad. What do you call me? Fire breathing dragon.
Yeah.
See, I have a nickname, and I'm gonna admit to my nickname. He says I become a fire breathing dragon, and he'll do this thing, and it works though. He'll say your scales are coming out, and I'm like, oh, and so that's my reminder. Like, okay, breathe. I might need to take a walk out the room.
Transforming, bro. Like literally, like
to
turning the Voltron. The fire, the scales are coming out.
Like,
come on back. Well, I promise this conversation's over right now.
So that's one of the big things we've learned, I think, with going to counseling. Communication. Yeah, we were both pretty sucky at it, but now we're doing a lot better. And they taught us, different tactics to work on communication, taking turns. I like to jump in and take over when he's trying to tell, and I'm like they say, I'm not listening to hear him or understand. I'm listening to respond. And I started hearing that from every counselor we went to, and I'm like, dang, maybe I do have a problem with this. I started like, maybe I have the problem when it comes to that. He doesn't want to talk to you because you're so quick to ready to go off on him about whatever it is he said. So he can't even get his thought out without you ready to attack. And then in that, trying to attack or whatever, I don't hear him. Because you can't. If you're sitting here thinking about what you're gonna say, you're not listening to the other person. So I had to learn how to communicate, and we had to learn how to communicate together. So that's one thing, I say work on your communication. And then the other part is I'm getting better at that now, is the biblical version of love. Like, I literally highlight and I read and I say, okay, love is patient. And then I replace my name. Alicia, you got to be patient with Tyrone. You have to be kind. Are you being kind right now? Because some days you piss me off and get on my nerves. And I have to, yes, you. And I have to choose to love, even though I don't want to sometimes, even though he's done something, whatever the case may be. So looking past what you think love is, this feeling of, and it's more of a choice that you have to sit here and make every single day, several times a day, when they do good, when they do bad, when it's that's what I've been working on. And I will say, once again, that's more from me going to church, Bible studies, that kind of thing. I'm learning to do that. And that is really helping me be able to keep going in this relationship and love him through his ups, his downs, his faults, his goods, his bad, all that stuff.
Sounds like you're dying to yourself.
Yeah.
If y'all could feel the passion.
It's not ooey gooey, it's dewy dewy.
Yes.
Amen to that.
That's a good description.
To that. I don't know if y'all can feel the passion from her speaking. Oh my gosh. It's real. It is palpable. You can touch it.
I see the
Yeah. No, but another thing, when you think about our longevity and the issues that we've had throughout the times, I think having a daughter so young is like, Aaliyah comes to us now with conversations and questions about her relationship with her long-term boyfriend. And she asked us for information and guidance and direction. And we try and take the lessons that we've learned, like, hey, we're going to provide suggestions
But,
only because
yeah.
you
You
asked
can't-
us.
But I don't want to make that decision. for
Yeah,
you.
but
You
Right,
have-
right.
you
That's-
have to
you know
do
what I'm
it
saying?
on your
Like,
own.
hey, you got to walk your own path. But here's some of the things that mom and dad went through that we hope you can learn from
Uh-huh.
our mistakes, right? So being able to share that perspective with our child
That helps.
is a blessing, dude. Because I didn't have, right? Like I didn't have some. She did. She had somebody she could talk to, but I didn't have any. Like I saw, and again, no bashing on my parents. I love them to death. But I saw a lot of dysfunction growing up, right? And you do what you see,
Oh,
right? So I came into this relationship with a lot of dysfunctional habits and tendencies.
Just a little bit.
A little
Just
bit,
a little bit.
tad bit. Louis, as my man Coach Prom said, I came with Louis, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing my baggage. And it's
From
Louis.
Perfect Man.
You know what I'm saying? But I had to realize, like, hey man, this is knockoff Louis. This ain't real. This ain't legit. This ain't sustainable. This isn't
Yeah, this is
viable
not how
for
life
longevity.
goes.
And so I had to make those shifts along the way. But that comes down to just understanding who you are, understanding what it is that you want to do as far as longevity, right? What the ultimate goal is, and then just being a man and making those changes.
Alicia, you had pointed out something that I thought was great. Like you said, I had to learn to like pick and choose my battles, right? And I think that is so important in marriage. Like, is this argument or this discussion even worth having, right? And that's, part of dying to self. Like, this really pisses me off, but it's not even worth having this whole, knockdown, bang out argument over
Not
nothing.
talking for 2 days. None of that stuff. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I think that, and I think as the recipient or the other party, we know, right? Like there'll be some things that she'll just kind of lay over, like, I don't necessarily agree with that, but whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And there's something where she digs her heels in and like, oh, this is a fight, right? And so now it comes on us, like, hey, is this something I really want to bite off? Like,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? So, and again, it comes to that. It comes down to communicating and understanding what the priority is, what the main goal is, and just keeping the main thing the main thing. So, just like she said, hey, there's some give and take. There goes for us too, right? This is not a hill I'm worth dying on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
I'm gonna let this one go. But as long as we're going toward the same direction, I think we'll be fine.
Well, I think that was a fantastic first
Yeah.
show. I didn't, y'all was so worried about how
We're having fun. This is almost like counseling.
What's up, podcast family? We just want to say thank you for tuning in, watching our episodes. We pray that what we are saying is a blessing to you. God placed it on our hearts to share with other married folks and soon to be married folks. So again, we just pray that it's blessing you.
And stay tuned for the next video. Again, we want to thank you. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for supporting This Works For Us podcast.